Tombstone, Arizona Territory, September 10, 1882. The Thomas brothers, Rip, Coley, and Ben, the younger element of Tombstone and its future citizens.
There's your troublemakers, Clay.
Take your choice. The fine's $10 apiece and 3 days in jail.
Well, you're bearing down a little hard, ain't you, Sheriff? We were just trying to have a little fun.
Sure. Just flexing our muscles. You know, having a few laughs.
It's getting so a person can't even let off a little steam in this town.
The next time you start a saloon brawl, it won't be just a fine and a night in jail. I'll lock you up for so long you can set up housekeeping.
It's about time.
Well, I didn't know you were in jail until this morning.
All right, pay the man. Let's get out of here.
I'm sorry about my brother, Sheriff. How much is their fine?
$10 apiece, Miss Thomas. They won't listen to me, so I'm going to tell you. Maybe you can talk some sense into them.
Well, they'll listen to me, and they better.
They've got to grow up and start acting their age.
We can do without the lectures. That goes for you too, Hollister.
Because if they don't, they're going to wind up killing somebody or getting killed themselves. There are your guns. Keep them holstered.
Yes, sir, Mr. Sheriff. At least for now.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die. Tombstone Territory. The Thomas brothers were important to Tombstone. They were the future of the town. And the way things had been going lately, Sheriff Clay Hollister had good reason to be concerned about them. Morning, Clay.
Oh, hello, Harris.
On my way to breakfast. Care to join me?
No thanks. I'm not hungry. Just had a stomach full of the Thomas brothers. It's the third time this month I've had to hold them in.
You ought to keep a permanent cell for them. Charge rent. A second home, so to speak.
Uh-oh, trouble.
Anybody else got ideas?
Cowboy, you just bit off more than you can swallow.
Hold it.
Give me the gun.
I'm walking out of here, Sheriff. Don't try stopping me.
Give me the gun. Now, suppose you tell me what happened.
We were just trying to have a little fun when all of a sudden he get mad.
He shot Ben before we knew what was happening.
How about hearing my side of it, Sheriff? That is, if you're interested.
I'm interested. Let's go.
You haven't heard the last of us, mister. You can bet on it.
All good. Your story better be right. You settled down enough yet to start talking?
I didn't ride into this town looking for trouble, Sheriff. All I wanted was a job. I warned them twice to leave me alone, but no, they had to keep calling me a saddle bum and a drifter. Got a lot of laughs out of everybody. Then, accidentally, on purpose, one of them spilled his drink on me.
So you repaid the compliment by shooting him?
Talking doesn't get through to some people, Sheriff. They have to be shown.
Well, that little demonstration may get you a term in jail.
You ever had trouble with the law before?
You mean locked up? No.
Yeah, I'm sorry to spoil your record. Let's go. Hello, Harris.
Oh, hello, Clay. Glad you stopped by. I'm writing an editorial here. I want you to hear it. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young men who come here seeking work. Let us demonstrate our friendship by offering them a fair chance at jobs and the opportunity to become decent citizens. Tolerance will make our community a better place to live. Well, then it goes on, but that's the idea. What do you think?
Oh, I think the same as you. Just come from a long talk with Judge Parker. We talked about Paul Hayden.
I guess he's the one who started this. The kid needs a break, no doubt about it.
Judge has given him one. He's put him on probation.
Oh, Clay, I think that's an excellent idea.
Of course, there are going to be some problems, but between the two of us, I think we can work them out.
What kind of problems?
Well, as sheriff of Tombstone, I couldn't very well have him paroled in my custody, so I had him paroled in yours.
You did what?
Well, now, just don't go bringing your blood to a boil.
Well, you might have consulted me first.
It never occurred to me that you'd object.
Oh, it never occurred to you. Well, I do. I've got too much to do around here to properly take care of the boy.
Calm down.
No, sir, it's too much responsibility.
Wait a minute. Let me read you something. The citizens of Tombstone have a responsibility to the many young men...
All right. Trapped by my own editorial. Paul, you better start a new paragraph here. Well, hello, Karen. This is a pleasant surprise.
Hello, Mr. Claiborne. I was just passing by and remembered I hadn't renewed my subscription to the paper.
Oh, shucks. I thought perhaps this was a personal call. Oh, excuse me. Paul, having such an attractive young lady in the office almost made me forget my manners. Miss Karen Thomas, this is my new assistant, Paul Hayden.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Thomas.
Hello. Well, I better pay you and run along. I don't want to be late for the bank.
If you have a moment, I'll write you out a receipt for this.
Oh, that won't be necessary, Mr. Claiborne. Nice to have met you, Mr. Hayden.
Pleasure.
Karen, wait a minute. I just remembered I have some business at the bank myself. Paul, would you take this over and get me some change for it?
How do you want it?
I don't care. Nickels, dimes, quarters. No reason for you to walk to the bank alone.
You don't mind company.
Oh, I'd be delighted, Mr. Hayden.
Hey, Paul. Well, aren't you something? No need to ask what happened to your paycheck. You're wearing it. Sit down.
Fellow's got a right to buy new duds, hasn't he?
He sure has. But you'll have to admit they're a little fancy to be wearing to work.
As a matter of fact, I was going to ask for the morning off. Karen's coming to town, and...
Sure, Paul. You go ahead.
But we're kind of busy. Sure you can get by without me, all right?
It'll be tough, but I'll try.
Well, now, look who's just leaving.
Well, just the man I've been looking for. It's time we settle with this drifter. Nice looking hat. Mind if I look it over for a while? I've been thinking about getting me a new hat.
Fitting that over swelled head of yours is going to be a job. Let's have that hat back.
Sure, drifter. There you are. Put a few air holes in it for you.
I'm not wearing a gun or I'd give you something to shoot at.
Now, you wanted a gun? There it is.
Beat it, Paul. He's on probation. He can't do any fighting. But I can.
Well, it's all right with me if you want to stick your nose in this.
Is this a private fight or can anybody join in? All right, what's going on?
Never mind, Clay. There's no real harm done.
That's right. The drifter here is on probation. Don't want him getting into trouble.
You want to prefer charges, Harris? I'll lock him up right now.
No. But they pay for the hat.
How much was it?
$5.
It's a pretty expensive target.
It was worth every penny of it. And I got some advice for you, Drifter. Keep away from my sister. And if I don't? The next time we shoot at that hat, you'll be wearing it.
You should let me lock him up, Harris.
Why? It's never done any good before. A couple of days in jail isn't going to teach them anything.
They bother me again, I'll start their education. And I'll finish it, too.
No, you won't, Paul. You do that and I'll finish it by jailing all of you.
Although Paul Hayden had only been in Tombstone a short time, he had run into trouble with the Thomas brothers twice. There was going to be a third time. He was going to be prepared for it.
Oh, Paul? Been shopping?
Picked up my shirts at the laundry.
Looks like a lot of starch in your shirts. You know, I could swear I just saw you coming out of the gun shop.
Probably some other fella.
Interesting looking laundry.
The way I look at it, wearing a gun's part of being dressed.
Probation law doesn't agree with you. It says you can't carry a gun or leave town.
Does it say what I'm supposed to do about Rip Thomas and his brothers?
No, but I can tell you. Grin and bear it.
Yeah. They're not pushing you around.
Would you rather serve out your sentence in jail? Look, Paul, you got a good job and you met a nice girl. Could be worse.
I'll keep out of trouble.
All right. You won't need this. Take it back, get your refund.
Hey, do you know it's almost 8 o'clock? Time we called it a day. Here, you can set this up tomorrow.
Mr. Clyburn, I think I'd like to stay here and finish this tonight.
Oh? Well, if you're gonna wait, I will too. I've got plenty I can do.
Mr. Clyburn, go home.
Well, how do you like that? Thrown out of my own office. Say hello to Karen for me.
I hope you don't mind us meeting here like this.
Of course not. Not the most romantic spot you can find, but, well, at least it's private.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clyburn.
Good night, Paul.
Get the shades, Ben. Well, you look surprised, Drifter. Maybe you were expecting someone else.
We told you to stay away from Karen, but you don't hear too good, do you?
Not when you talk.
Well, by the time we're through, maybe you'll learn to listen a lot better. You got off lucky, Drifter. You keep away from Karen, and next time we'll kill you.
Well, there it is. Isn't that a nice mess? No need to guess what happened after you left. I checked Paul's rooming house. He wasn't there. And his horse is missing from the livery stable.
If he's left town, he's in trouble.
The boy would have been just fine if Rip and his brothers had left him alone.
I'll take care of them later. Right now, I'm more concerned about Paul. Harris, where do you keep your rifle?
Here. Well, it was here when I left last night.
We better get out to the Thomas place.
We're just going in town after you, Hollister. Glad you showed up.
I'll bet you are.
Particularly after what happened to my place last night.
Have you seen Paul?
The Drifter? No. But when we do...
He was here. And when he left, he took Karen with him.
Now, they couldn't have gone very far, because I heard Karen moving around in the house about an hour ago.
Him running off is a violation of his probation, isn't it, Hollister?
I'll bring him back.
Well, you go right ahead, Sheriff. We'll just look for Karen.
Yeah, and when we find her, if she just happens to be with that Drifter, well, that's his tough luck.
Okay, let's go.
We got some ground to cover.
Clay, what happens if he won't go back with us?
He will.
Nice day for a ride. Sure is, Sheriff. And we're going to keep right on enjoying it.
Paul, we've come to take you back to town.
Sorry to disappoint you, Sheriff, but Karen and I are moving on.
Easy, boy. We're out here to help you.
You're a little late.
I don't think so. You said all you wanted was a decent break. Well, you got it. And the first time things got a little bit rough, you turned tail and ran.
So you moved to another town. There'll always be a situation that needs facing.
Maybe he's right, Paul. We can't keep wondering and worrying about when my brothers are going to show up. We'd never be happy that way. Let's go back together.
You sure that's what you want, Karen? What about my probation? I wasn't supposed to leave town or carry a gun.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you and Karen just took a canter to the city limits. They're pretty big.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Harris, you take Paul back to the shop.
Karen, I want to ride to the ranch with you. I want to talk to your brothers.
Fine. I'm going to be awfully angry, Mr. Hollister.
So am I.
You got some mighty fancy explaining to do.
Wait until we get our hands on that drifter.
Look, Karen's back and there's no harm done.
Keep out of this, Hollister. This is a family affair.
That's right. Just because you're wearing a badge doesn't give you the right to keep sticking your nose into our business.
I say it's a good thing he has it on. It gives him protection.
Well, I can always take it off. It's about time somebody taught you three to grow up. Since nobody else has offered to do the job, I'll volunteer.
Hollister, beating you is going to be a pleasure. You want to try next?
You betcha.
You still feel like fighting after your arm gets well, you know where to find me. I want you and your brothers in my office tomorrow morning at 10. Thanks.
Here they come. All spruced up.
Well, you're right on time. I was going to lock all three of you up. Figured a jail term would do you good. Since the damages to the epitaph office have been paid and Paul here doesn't want to prefer charges, you're free to go.
You mean you ain't gonna press charges?
Sheriff Hollister kept me from going to jail, and I thought I should pass on the favor.
Oh, don't just stand there looking foolish. Shake hands.
I'd like to apologize.
Mom, forget it.
Me too.
About time you showed some judgment.
It must have been that licking you gave us. Sort of helped us grow up.
Yeah, the hard way. Speaking of growing up, we all look a little older today.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'Cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I want